Hi, in today's video, I'm going to talk about how an overseas lawyer can get admitted to practice here in Australia. If you're already a qualified lawyer overseas, becoming an admitted solicitor here in Australia isn't about starting from zero. It's about closing a gap. Hi, I'm Ekta and I'm an Indian qualified lawyer. I've been through every single step to requalify myself as a lawyer here in Australia, and hence I'm creating this video. I do understand the uncertainty and I understand the expectations what an overseas lawyer might be having here. And I'm creating a step-by-step video with all the steps which I had undertaken. Please note, this is not a legal advice. This is just me, a lived experience, which I'm sharing with all of you. And I hope this really helps you. Let's talk about your first step, which is the most important one. So the first step is assessing your academic qualifications. Your academic qualifications will be assessed by the state or state admission, legal admission board. Example being, if I reside in Sydney, it will be based on the New South Wales Legal Admission Profession Board. You'll have to submit your transcript, the curriculum you have undertaken in your home country, the number of practical legal training, and the work you have done as a lawyer or a legal student back in your home country. Depending on that, they have in Australia, we have the universal principles for assessing qualification of overseas applicants, and that's the national framework they follow. You'll be assessed against that, and then you'll have a roadmap by them which will tell them that these are the subjects you have to undertake. This is the practical legal training you'll have to do in Australia, and that will be a personalized roadmap here. Now, I do see that this process does takes around few weeks to few months, so I would really recommend starting early. Also, a bit of a disclaimer that no two assessments look same. It depends on the kind of work and studies you have undertaken in your home country. So don't be surprised if you receive 3 subjects to be done and someone receives 7 subjects, because it all depends on the kind of studies you have undertaken. The next step is going to be bridging the academic gap. So depending on the home country, mostly what you're taught in your home country in Australia, the subjects do remain same. But in Australia, there are foundational legal courses, which are called the Priestley 11. They are constitutional law, equity law, administrative law, civil procedure, equity, and the list goes on. Now, if your assessment shows the gap, you'll have to do these subjects. And it's not like a new whole degree, it's just the missing pieces which you'll have to undertake. Now, I'll give you an example. Like in my case, I had to undertake 3 subjects: equity, constitution, and property law. And then I had to also undertake my practical legal training, but that was the roadmap which I was given and I had to undertake. Now, if you are a really experienced if you are an experienced practitioner, you might have an experienced practitioner pathway, and so you might be exempted altogether from all of these requirements, but that's upon the board to assess it. Then what comes next is your practical legal training, which is very much called as PLT here in Australia. Now, PLT it's just bridging the gap between your Australian legal knowledge and your day-to-day training. They will provide that. Now, example being like in civil procedure, they'll tell you how to draft affidavits and briefs and all of that. So those courses are really good, and it is mandatory for everyone to take it. Even if you have been studying here, you will have to do it, and even if you're overseas qualified lawyer, you still have to undertake PLT. The other thing with PLT is you will also have to do a supervised workplace training. So if you're working, or if you enroll in your studies here, and if you work as a paralegal, you can show that training here, or you've worked as a legal administrator here, you can show that you've had some experience of work here in Australia. So what does the process look like after PLT? It's getting your English assessment done, which is the IELTS test. IELTS is basically testing you on reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills. Depending on the board, you will be given a band which you have to achieve. Like at my time, I still remember there was a band of 8 which you had to achieve in writing and speaking, and also listening. So that was a must, and there's no exemption given for IELTS, even though despite of the fact that in your home country you might have been taught completely in English all throughout your life. But that's basically, you have to do this step here in Australia. Now, each admitting authority does set their own scores, which you have to achieve depending on the state. It might vary for New South Wales and Victoria and for other states. Yeah, that's it. And it also, the most important thing is that you have to take the IELTS test within 2 years you decide to get admitted. So I undertook it right after I completed my PLT. Applying for admission and getting your practicing certificate. How does that work? Once you have completed your PLT, your course assessments, and your English requirements, you will have to apply for your application as a lawyer before the Supreme Court. The application will also have to improve your character references, the evidence of your previous studies, and also fit and proper person check, which is given by the court in your home country. I think the duration for which is 1 month. Before you decide to apply, it has to be within 1 month. You get these documents all sorted and ready for the application. Once the court accepts this, they will invite you formally for a formal ceremony of being admitted as a lawyer. And once you're admitted, you get your admission certificate, right there at that point of time. Now, after this, you also have to apply for your practicing certificate with the state law society. And that practicing certificate has to be supervised for 2 years. You'll have to work under a solicitor or a lawyer or a legal firm for 2 years before you can actually start on taking clients. So to recap, get your qualification assessed. That's the first most important step. Close any academic and PLT requirement gaps. Once you're done with that, you'll also have to do your English requirements. That's the IELTS test. Once that's done, you file in for your admission before the Supreme Court and then apply for the practicing certificate with the Law Society. And I think what's the most important document in this whole process is your assessment letter, which you get from the board, because that's your personalized roadmap. What steps you have to undertake to complete your legal studies or to become a qualified lawyer here in Australia. So yeah, I would really recommend starting early. And I hope you found this video useful. Do comment and let me know which stage you are at. And yeah, see you in the next video. Thank you.